Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Knights of the Round Table. Again, our regular awesome guest, Nancy O'Brien Simpson. And today we've got a podcast about happiness, positivity, and gratitude. And Nancy, I know that you live that life. You spend every day trying to be as positive and as happy as you can, regardless of what's going on in your life. Please share your insights.
Happiness is, gratitude is, blessing is, it's literally a way of being. It is a way of living. And it is a way of living that opens the door to a magic carpet ride of life. It's just like, whoa. It's literally a different way of living. And the beautiful thing about it is you don't have to be some type of a guru. You don't have to be a mystic. You don't have to be a seeker. You don't have to be an intellectual. You don't have to go to therapy. You don't have to meditate. You don't have to do anything to get on this magic carpet ride of life. You can just begin today. And really, I'm going to give credit to a woman who I met about 20 years ago who changed my life. And what I'm going to say to you, every single person out there, you have no idea your power. We have no idea how what we think influences not just other people, but the universe. If every single person had kindness, gratitude, joy, everybody, people did not bear grudges. If we would just be awesome people, the whole world, the zeitgeist of the world goes up, up, up because we matter. So many people think we don't matter. We matter more than we could ever imagine. It's just incredible. So this is the story of a little crippled woman who lived in the ghetto, who changed my world, and I was able then to change the world in a small way of everybody that's listening to this. And I spent my career in a prison, and I got to do groups with literally hundreds, if not thousands actually, of inmates, felons, and I got to tell them the story of Miss Star. So 20 years ago in our city, behind our food bank free store, there was a clinic that had been set up by a doctor, Connie Regal, and it was called the Health Resource Center. And what it was a place where doctors, physicians, dentists, optometrists, social workers came to volunteer their time. And it was a beautiful, beautiful thing. And the population that they were working with was those people that used to be in the institutions for the mentally challenged, the state institutions. When those were deregulated, those folks ended up on the streets, and they don't know how to handle money. The women get raped. They're homeless because they are not mentally prepared to live on the streets. So this is who that clinic serviced. And I remember the first day that I was there as a volunteer counselor, and my first client was a man, very disheveled, kind of smelly, that was sitting across from me, and we were talking, and I looked down and I noticed there was yellow running from his pants leg to the floor.
Awkward.
Yeah, he was peeing on himself. But I say this to say, and I say it with love and kind of with tears, that was the population that we served. So I was there for a while, and one of the people there said Miss Star, a client who came there and would pick up a prescription, was late for her prescription. And would I please go and check on Miss Star? And I said, sure. So Miss Star lived in what we called the West End of our city, Cincinnati, before it became gentrified, when it was literally very scary, very scary. And so I drove up to, back then it was like Republic and 14th, and it was just pure ghetto. I mean, just rough. So I parked my car and I go into this tenement, and as you can imagine, the subfloor is coming up, and I find the door and I knock on the door, and I can hear somebody like dragging themselves slowly to open the door. And Miss Starr opened the door, and she was an African American woman, and I'm going to say she was about, at the time, maybe 45. And you could tell that she was in pain. Maybe she had MS, maybe she had lupus, fibromyalgia. I don't know what it was, but you could tell the woman was in pain. And her apartment was a tenement apartment. Although it was neat and tidy, it was a tenement. And she went and slowly back, and she sat on her sofa. And at the time, I was living literally in palatial splendor in Indian Hill in an amazing home. And I sat there and I looked at Miss Starr, and I looked around me, and to my complete horror, I began to cry. And Miss Starr goes, "Honey, what you be doing? What you be doing? Why are you crying?" And I said, well, I just feel so sorry that you're in pain. And she goes, "Don't you be feeling sorry for me. You go back in that back bedroom and you get the picture off that bureau and you bring it out here." So I go back in the back bedroom, not wanting to go back in the back bedroom, but I do. I get the picture, and she goes, "What you be seeing?" And I said, "I see a picture of a boy in a wheelchair." And she goes, "Yeah." She said, "That was my boy when I was in high school. That was my boy." And her boyfriend. And she goes, "He be's at the wrong place at the wrong time. He take 3 bullets right here." And she points to her stomach, and she goes, "He has to be wearing a bag rest of his life. He in a wheelchair rest of his life." She said, "He not even here anymore." She goes, "Look at me. Please look at me." She goes, "I don't got no bag. I ain't sitting in no wheelchair. I got a roof over my head. And you know what? Look at that. Look at my kitchen right there. My sister's church, they bring me food every single week. They fill up my pantry." She goes, "I be blessed. Honey, I be blessed. Don't you be crying for me. I be blessed." And my life changed.
That's amazing.
Because of Miss Starr, my life changed. Because Miss Starr taught me it is not what you don't have. How many of us, "I will be happy when I get a husband. I will be happy when I get a raise. I'll be happy when I get a bigger house. I'll be happy when I get a vacation home. I'll be happy when. We need to be like Miss Starr and be happy now. To exalt in what we have been given, because we've all been given so much."
Yeah, we often hear that, and I can only say that, it's easy to say for most, but it's definitely difficult to do. And you had a turning point, but I'm also very well aware, being friends with both you and your family for such a long time, that you are a very different person today than you were previously, right? And you're capable of unconditional love now, and you show it every day. Was that the only turning point, or did you have other experiences as well?
I would say that happiness, this is such a hard lesson, but happiness comes from pain. Happiness comes from the crucible of pain. That is our greatest teacher. If you have a cush life and you're easy, you don't have to learn those lessons that Miss Starr learned or that others learn. It's when you're hurting. It's when your heart is literally ripped out. It's when you're betrayed by the people that you love the most. It's when you don't have your dreams come true. That is in that crucible of pain. That is where we learn to grow. That is where we learn gratitude. It's not on the mountaintop. It's on the valley.
I can completely relate to that. So I feel like recently I've walked through fire, and I am definitely grateful for it. And my sister said it best, returning to the Stephen that they knew. They feel like that after what I've been through with the difficult breakup and going through a divorce and a whole bunch of other things that we don't have to get into right now, but it's definitely through that pain of absolute wrenching heartbreak that you're forced to look at things. You're forced to reevaluate. But most people go two different ways. Some people look for that temporary satisfaction or pleasure, or you could look for the more permanent, and which is to find it within yourself, correct? It's interesting. It's easy to try to fill a void with food, with alcohol, with drugs, with partying, with all sorts of different things, unhealthy relationships. Many people go different ways, but I definitely have to agree that you need to learn to love yourself. You need to learn to be happy with what you have and be grateful for what you've got. My mind always goes back to my family now. And I consider you and your family. I feel very close to you all, and that's been a godsend for me. But I'm also a lot closer to my own family after spending some time with them as well. And that seems to be my happy place. I also believe that happiness doesn't necessarily mean you're not going to struggle. I know myself well enough that I believe that working towards something, striving towards something actually does, or labor in a way, makes me happy too, right? So it's interesting. So I think Jordan Peterson is a lecturer in Canada, says it really well. There's nothing wrong with toiling. There's nothing wrong with getting your house in order, and the process of doing that makes you happy.
It's true. The Buddhists say this, and it is the Buddha said this, and the Buddhists teach this, and it is so germane to what we're speaking of, and that is all pain comes from attachment to expectation. I'm going to say it again because it's so important. All pain comes from a certain expectation, a certain result is going to happen, and we attach ourselves to this outcome that we want. And if we don't get it, there is pain. I want this job. I don't get it. I want this boy to love me. He doesn't love me. I want a bigger house. To even things like I want to be healthy and you get MS. I want to be healthy and you get leukemia. I have a right. No. So when we cannot expect an outcome, we can detach from expectation, then every single day, what is given is our joy. Every day, what is given is our joy. Example, this is honestly true. So when I talk about my magic carpet ride of life, when I wake up, I have a glass wall in my bedroom so I can see the sun, the sky, and the clouds. It's just magnificent. I wake up and I go, oh my gosh, another day, thank you. Can't even believe I have another day, thank you. Then I feel my bed underneath me, and I go, bed, you know I love you, thank you. I do, I go, thank you for my great night's sleep. And then I go to my pillow, I love you. Oh, you cradled my head, you're the best. And then I bless them. I say, bless you, my bed, I bless. Then when I take my shower, I'm like, shower, I love you. I bless you. This is so awesome. I have an electric toothbrush. I always go, I can't believe toothbrush, how I don't even have to brush and I go all through the day. But then
you honestly think that?
Every single day.
Wow.
Every single day. But it makes life a magic carpet ride. I know it sounds weird.
But you do it consciously?
Consciously. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. My food, I bless my food. I look at the food and I go, I bless you, thank you. If it's I always do this too with meat, because I do eat meat and I always feel a little guilty about the meat. So,
life eats life, don't feel bad.
Thank you. So, but what I do is I almost always, if I'm eating meat, I say to the animal, thank you for giving me your life. And I want to honor you, animal, by taking the energy of your meat into me and using it for good. I want it so that the animal's life force, I can then channel and use for good. I then extend this because blessing is a step beyond gratitude. I can be thankful for my bed. I can be thankful for a lot of things. Blessing takes it a step farther. I bless you, my bed. I bless you, shower. And we do not have a crystal ball, nor do we have all the answers to the mysteries of life. We don't know how conscious these molecules in this table might be. We don't know how conscious we don't know. We think we know everything. We know very little. So I bless everything, my shoes, my clothes, everything. But then I extend it, and here's where it really gets wonderful. When I'm standing in line at Kroger, I can turn around, and just inside of me, I can bless the person behind me. I can bless the cashier. I can send love. It's like the more love that I send out, the more I bless everything, the more this magic carpet ride just begins to soar. Now, there is a man, Masaru Emoto, and he is a scientist that lived in Japan, and he did these experiments with water, and this is what he did. He took a jar of water, and he would have people stand around the water, and they would think, water, I love you, water, I love you, water, I love you. And then he would take the water he would make them into that water into ice, and the ice crystals would be very beautiful, gorgeous, symmetrical. And then he had people look at the water, and they would go, I hate you, I hate. And the water molecules looked yuck. And what he extrapolated from that is that our thoughts have power. They have the power to affect the molecules of water. Now think about this. We are 60% water as humans. So if that happens with water, you're 60% water, and I'm standing in line going, I bless you, I bless you, I love you. I don't even know you. What effect would that have on the water molecules on you? We do not know how powerful our thoughts are. We don't know how powerful our thoughts are in the universe. Have you ever just been around somebody and...
I'll be honest and say, I don't believe people have that kind of influence.
They do.
Over the universe.
They do. But you can believe they don't.
Yeah.
But isn't it beautiful to believe they do?
It's a nice thought.
It is a nice thought.
I wonder if it's been peer-reviewed or reproducible.
I do not know that, and
be interesting.
It would be interesting. All I know is I love blessing people. And let's say it had no effect on the person whatsoever. Guess who gets the blessing?
That's true. There's definitely power in it, and there's definitely an influence.
Guess who gets the blessing? Right. I get the blessing.
No,
yes,
I get that.
Yes, you get that. So the power, it's kind of like the power of love, that the more we give it, the more we bless, the more we see the good all around us and are thankful, it just like lifts our souls, the more happy we are. It's kind of selfish almost. The more I love others, the more I love my plants, the more I love everything, the more I love myself.
It's interesting. The lesson that I've been trying to learn lately, I think it's more about that expectation, but it's also about letting go. Truly letting go of the past, of expectations of the future, of wanting things to eventuate, whatever it might be, personal life, working life, whatever. I've really struggled with that. I find it difficult to truly let go. I think I'm getting better with time, but I find that hard to do.
I have not arrived. I will tell you a personal struggle of mine. All of my life, I was born to be a wife and a mother. I never really wanted a career, although I have an awesome one. Never wanted to be a writer, although I have an awesome job as a writer. I just wanted to be a mom and a wife. And I was almost like born to be a princess and love my prince. It was like my destiny. And for 17 years, 18 years, I have been single. And I have really not been in a significant relationship in all of those years. And I have come to peace with it. And I tell myself, okay, you don't have one person to love, Nancy. You have the whole world to love. And I kind of try to reframe like that. But I can be at a wedding, I can be at a dance, I can be at the opera, the ballet, and I can be with one of my children or with a friend, a girlfriend, and I look at all the couples my age, and they're all holding hands and they're whispering to each other, and there comes an ache, an existential angst that can actually bring me to my knees, because I want what they have so desperately at some level. And even to this very day, although I tell myself I've made peace with it, that this is where I need to be, I still struggle with that partnerless of almost 2 decades. So I don't think anybody, as long as we're in this earth body, I don't think anybody really ever, of course we never arrive, we just...
Well, it is the journey, right? So that's something that, I've woken up to again, is that wanting to evolve, wanting to be with a partner that wants to be on a journey which is truly very honest and authentic and just want to evolve together. Happiness to me is refocused now on my family, on the relationships, that the people I care and love. But more than anything, what I crave now is to provide and to protect and to serve a family of my own. That's something that I wish I started earlier. At 43 now, it almost feels like, Jesus Christ, I better get moving. The next couple years for me, I do feel that pressure now. I've never felt it before because I never wanted it so badly. Yeah. And so in terms of happiness, I think I'm at a point in my life where I know what's important now. I know what will make me happy. But I still need to continue, like you said, to evolve. And that is to learn to let go, to learn to accept, to be grateful for the things I've got now. But it's hard when you're looking at the future.
It's very hard, because when you crave something that is good and you feel it would be good for you,
yes,
you were born to be a husband and a father.
Absolutely.
You were literally,
I know that now.
You were born to be that. But...
And I see it with my interactions with children.
Yes, yeah. You were born. I mean, you're just magnificent with children. But the interesting thing about it is there's 2 ways in your situation that a life could go. Oh, damn it. Oh, man. I mean, everybody, when's she going to come? Like, right. Oh, my. There's that. And then there's what you are doing today.
Sorry, I think, is that face phone?
I think it might be mine.
Oh, okay.
So what you are doing with your life now is, in the interim, because your wife and your children, they're there, they're going to come. In the interim, the universe has given you people who need you to love. Your family, you have people in your life who were brought to you by the universe, God, whatever, that really needed you. And right now you are serving them and loving them. And so every day your life has meaning right now.
I definitely feel that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's interesting. Trying to be grateful for what you already have and not having expectations. I think what you do, Nancy, consciously every day with the different things from your bed to your shoes or whatever it might be, I think that's got to be the key to it, is developing that habit to do it consciously, regularly. And then over time, I think it becomes part of you. You to me, from the outside looking at you, you do it effortlessly.
Because
yeah.
And but why is that?
Yeah.
Every single thing that you do, that you practice, you get better at. So I've practiced it for years, maybe 20 years with Miss Starr. So the more you practice gratitude, blessing, happiness, the more it comes. And before we close, I would just want to say one more.
Please take your time.
All right. So everybody has a different spin on why we are here. I am one of these people that has this existential angst that burns in me, like, from the time I was little, kindergarten, I would look up. I remember I'm in kindergarten, I'm looking at the sky, the stars, and I remember kindergarten saying, why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? Like, what is it all about? And my whole life, I've just burned with, like, I've studied different religions, different philosophies. I have my undergraduate degree in philosophy, my behavioral health for my master's degree. It's just like, I want to know, like, why do we tick? Why are we here? And one of the things that, for me, that I have come to is, I know it's different than you again, but perhaps, and again, I think certitude is a low spiritual plane. So anyone that says this is absolutely it, low, plain, it's a mystery. We see in the mirror dimly. Nobody has a toehold or all the answers. We simply do not. So I say this just as a theory in my own soul. But I believe that if the soul does travel on, if the soul is in any sense immortal, then we are here to learn lessons to grow that soul. And the biggest lessons we're here to learn are love and forgiveness and kindness. Those are the lessons. So that how can I learn the lesson? This is, oh guys, this one is so hard. How do you learn the lesson of forgiveness? Do you know the answer, Stephen?
No.
Someone has to hurt you.
Ah.
How do you learn the lesson of forgiveness? Someone has to hurt you. How do you learn the lesson of long suffering? Someone has to be mean to you, whatever. How do you learn patience? Someone has to be driving you crazy. In order to learn, in order to learn the big spiritual lessons, we have to have people betray us, people hurt us, whatever. And every time someone hurts us, every time someone betrays us, it is an opportunity to forgive. The more your soul learns to love and forgive those who are mean to you and those who hurt you, the more you grow. And that's not good news, folks. That is not good news. Because if you want to be really spiritual and you want to have spiritual muscles and grow, then you have to do the work, and the work is forgiving. And if you're going to forgive, someone has to hurt you. So that is, yes, that's not good news, but in my life it has been my best teachers and mentors have been those people who have hurt me, let me down, marginalized me, betrayed me, not understood me. Those very people have been my best guides to love, forgiveness, not personalizing things, not, if you're mean to me, not taking it personal. Part of this, we left out my mother. Helen Louise Kohler, my mother. My mother also, you say, when did you learn this? How did you learn this? My mother was a natural at it, so that if somebody was mean to my mother, unkind to my mother, this is what my mother would say. Oh, honey, they must have been having a bad day. They must have been having a hard day. She never personalized it, my mother. She had no filters to love. She didn't know how to be mean. No matter what anybody did to my mother, Helen Louise Kohler would come back with a gracious, loving response. And so I was blessed. I actually grew up with that.
That's amazing. Regarding appreciation for things, you reminded me of a very personal story. One of the last conversations I ever had with my brother, he was terminally ill at the time, dying from cancer, and he was drifting.
What was his name?
Jason James Hafali. Yeah. So he was drifting in and out of consciousness, and he had a very lucid moment at one stage, and he sat up and he called out, "Stephen!" And I'm just here. I'm right here. And he says, it's getting harder and harder for me to tell the difference between the real and the fake world. I go, what do you mean? He goes, as I'm drifting off, I'm seeing a very grey world. And it's not this one. And it's getting difficult for me to tell the difference between them. So that's incredible. So trying to be lighthearted, he developed a huge taste for strawberries at the time. It was probably for the vitamin B, who knows? And I said to him, what's more important to you? What's actually more important to you right now, holding on to that sanity or the taste of strawberries, right? And I'm just laughing. And he actually stopped for a second and he considered it seriously. And he taught me a very valuable lesson. He said to me, both are equally as good. And at the time, I didn't really think about it too much, but then I realized that's actually one of the fundamental teachings of Buddhism. It's to appreciate the beauty in all things great and small. And even at that time, when he's dying, and he was forced to consider two different things, one, holding on to your sanity or the taste of strawberries, he stopped and considered them and said, they're both equally as good in different ways. And I was blown away.
It's big.
Yeah,
It's very
I'll
big.
never forget it.
Yeah. in summary, for our podcast on happiness, blessings, forgiveness, gratitude, the things that really come to my mind are to be grateful for what you have. I mean, these are obvious things. We all know them, but just in recounting them, be grateful for what you have. Do not moan and groan over what you don't have. Be grateful. 2, when somebody is mean to you, betrays you, stabs you in the back, it is the universe giving you an opportunity to love them. Forgive them. When somebody says something bad about you, gossips about you, it is an opportunity for you to rise above it and be gracious and not gossip back and not judge them, but just let it be. An opportunity for that. Do not attach to expectation, but rather be grateful for everything given. I know this sounds Pollyanna-ish. I'm so sorry for that, seriously, but it is such a profound truth. Grateful because why? We have been given so much compared to, we live like kings and queens. And I go back to Miss Starr.
Very true.
Miss Starr was grateful for her little shanty, her little apartment. She was so grateful, so happy. She praised God for it. And we've been given so much more. Let's just all of us be kind, be grateful, be gracious, and
Yeah. And for me, to all my family and friends, there's nothing that I would not do for you and for your happiness. Love you, Nancy.
love you. Love you, Stephen. Love
Thank-
you, love you.
thanks.
And we love you. We love everybody watching. We love you.
Bye.